streams and such. And good to see you. So, game will begin shortly, Dave. Make sure I have everything set up. If you look at game one, we do have the pick of Saracens, Byzantines, and Japanese. I am almost
Usually
certain
it's a Byzantine or Japanese pick.
Yeah, I have to agree. Byzantines is what I think we'll see. That's what we've seen game one across the board in almost every matchup over the past like 5-6 rounds. So, do you think that's what we're going to see?
I can't see Viper going with Saracens after the last game he played against Loiza. Saracens against Huns. I think he might still have a bad taste in his mouth.
Okay.
From that one. But I don't know. I feel like Viper would go. I feel like MBL is gonna go Byzantines and Viper is gonna go Japs. To be honest.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll see in a moment's time. We are starting game one of the losers bracket final, which will of course lead these players to the final of Masters of Arena 3. We have
Both
a Byzantines war.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here we go, and let's begin. We have MBL here. I'm not going to use team colors. We have him in the pink, and actually having a rough start here, not being able to find his sheep, which is unfortunate. And
Oh
we'll
wow,
see how long
it's
it
taken
takes
him
for
quite
him.
a long time. There we
Of
go.
course, these
finally.
players have rehosts, but I don't think he should use it. He has a really nice map, and that's what I'm going to begin on here. He has a nice back gold. Apart from that, he does have a stone on the left-hand side, a stone on the right-hand side, and another stone actually in his walls here, not to mention a gold on the right. Now, he also has a relic, and a gold in the bottom right as well. So he has a
second berry patch as well.
yeah, I mean, sometimes you do see players TC those things, so who knows, that might become a factor. But he has a relic, multiple golds and stones, which is good. Not to mention that he has these deer. Also, he has a relic right outside his walls, so 2 relics in his favor, in my opinion. Then for Viper, what do you think about Viper's map then, Dave?
Viper's map, I mean, his forward gold, it's kind of weird the way the map's set up here into the corner. His forward gold, I guess he can take it. It's not really that assailable. But I mean, it's not looking great for Viper. He does have the back stone. But the deers aren't his base. His sheep are back there. He's having a bit of a tough time finding those.
Yeah, you know what?
And the secondary gold is too forward.
This is interesting because sometimes players, or in MBL's case, he's always an early scouter, and in this case, he's already walked across the map or trotted across the map, whatever. And you see what he sees. He sees these 2 golds of Viper, so he's pretty much aware that Viper has 1 gold in his base, unless Viper does get some of those like second or those 4th and 5th golds, which is never really standard. So you could guess that Viper only has 1 gold, and in this case, Viper has his gold forward. MBL could choose to go, of course, he is going to be going with monks, we could guess. He could choose to go with siege a little bit heavier. It's just a matter of where he goes. I think Viper's in certainly a worse position with his map, and it's pretty apparent to me anyway.
Yeah, I mean, even the relic situation. I mean, MBL, those 2 in the middle are kind of closer to MBL. And he has 1 in his base and 1 right outside his base.
Yep, we have relic on the right-hand side, relic in the middle then, and relic on the against the tree line there.
MBL doesn't see those 2 sheep, but he'll get them eventually when he's pushing his deer. But he literally doesn't see them.
Oh yeah,
the
you're
ones
right.
in his base.
Yeah,
he'll find them.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't necessarily need them right now because he has the other ones. But you're right. That is interesting. Now Viper actually, he doesn't see, and this might be actually a worry for Viper.
He does see the sheep.
Oh, okay, got. He's scouted it with his sheep.
He just hasn't taken them yet because he doesn't need them.
Yeah. So let's talk. Now that we've talked a bit about the maps, let's talk a little bit about the style of play we could see with the Byzantines. Of course, they have a very nice uptime with the fact that they don't need as much resources to click up to the next stage. But what do you think we will see in the Castle Age and possibly from then on forward?
I feel like we're going to see a lot of aggression from Viper.
Okay.
And I think, one thing I've noticed with MBL, I've watched a lot of his games, especially against the top players in this arena tournament, and it seems like he doesn't mind. He builds his buildings in such a way that he can turtle up in his base, and he doesn't mind being pushed back, and then he'll push right back at that player in Imperial Age. So if we see that aggression from Viper early on, MBL will probably just keep retreating, maybe drop a couple castles or something to defend his base, and then slowly push outward with a
I
better
have to agree
boom.
with you. Honestly, MBL should be pretty content with doing that. He has 2 relics close by, so they're pretty much 2 free relics if he does get the one outside his walls first. Also, he has a back gold, 2 back golds, and also he has a nice free stone on the left-hand side, which of course he will have to scout. And, oh, and the one on the right. And the way his woods are set up, he could easily wall in towards his TC, TC's in the back, and do that forward castle right in front of his, like, TC here or inside his walls, and turtle up a bit. So it will be interesting to see how Viper scouts and how he perceives the map, because if he is unable to recognize the fact that, well, MBL really has no resources outside his walls, and if he does go aggressive, he could be in a real spot of bother.
So Viper actually going up faster, and he was about half a villager ahead of MBL.
I noticed this,
Neither
and
player has
also
bloom.
notice Viper has his 4 deer right outside his walls as well, so he was unable to lure them in. So I'm interested to see Viper's build, because right now he's at 150 food. It's pretty incredible that he's attempted this, and also keep in mind, MBL getting the deer, going up with an extra villager. I did speak to MBL, he did actually help me co-cast some of the Fire and Wand games, and he said going up with the extra vill is what he prefers because of the extra economy.
Well,
In this
especially with
case,
this map.
it'll really help. Yeah, yeah, I agree.
But Viper, yeah, it's gonna be close whether he has enough food or not to go up here, because he is exhausting his last sheep there. He's only got 4 farms, got 5 on the berries, but
I mean, somehow players are always able to figure it out, but I don't see if he's creating 2 villagers, which is normally what you'll see. I don't see how he's going to be able to do this
I think he's
without
gonna
selling
buy
some
his way up.
resources.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's gonna have to. I
I'm
mean,
gonna
he's
pay
probably
attention
gonna
specifically to Viper here, but
sell
he's
some
sending 2 over to
stone.
gold, yeah. Sell some stone, buy some food. I mean, I think he's a little bit desperate here if he's gonna have to do that, honestly. Maybe he's gonna do something with his quick uptime, though. I am gonna pay attention to his point of view here for the viewers. And right now, he's
We
going to
believe,
probably create
guys,
one
it's
more
the
vill.
Viper.
Exactly. I mean, I'm very curious to see what he's going to do. He is going to actually go with one more villager. He could definitely have canceled that out.
Scout fight.
Actually, a little bit of a scout conflict right outside MBL's bases. Oh, Viper. Sometimes I'd like to see him go in there to get some scouting information, but look at this. He's continuing to make vills.
He's gonna make another villager.
Yeah, this is a little bit messy in my opinion, as MBL is probably going to click up in a moment's time. He's actually lacking the food as well. You know, these times are kind of messy from both players, but he's clicked
And
up.
MBL's actually, and Viper is ahead 1 villager. He's gonna be ahead 2 villagers, and I think he's gonna buy. Yeah, he just bought some food, so he'll be fine. And he'll be going up about what 20 seconds, 30 seconds later.
You know, it's interesting. So 30 seconds, 2 extra vills. It looked messy, but I don't think Viper's in a bad spot because he
No, I
didn't
think
really
it might actually be worth it.
exactly. So it didn't look pretty. But in the grand scheme of things, he has 2 extra villagers. He still has his stone, so he can make TCs if he needs to. He has villagers on gold. In fact, that's an awful lot on gold, so I do think he will go with the monasteries. But I think he's fine. Meanwhile, MBL, he has 6 on gold.
Lots
so,
of villagers on gold. Yep.
yeah. So it'll just be down to how these players choose to play. And I'm kind of curious what they choose to do, because sometimes MBL, he's quite vocal about the fact he will use his market a lot, and I will try to keep an eye on that with my dashboard here.
Looks like more farms coming down from Viper. Is he gonna make some scouts?
Does he have
I can't see it because he hasn't even dropped a barracks
Yeah,
yet.
he doesn't have the barracks, yeah. So I assume, I mean, we're definitely going to see a second TC from one of these players at some point at this rate. It will go with monks. Just a matter of how heavy they go into the monk production and upgrades. Honestly, I think Viper is a smart enough player to realize MBL has no golds or stones outside his base, so if he were to try and go aggressive, MBL is going to turtle up inside. And MBL's already starting to do that with his
2
buildings, if you look.
monasteries.
Yeah,
Yep.
MBL's in a good position to turtle up, so probably 2 from Viper as well. Or we'll see. He's actually going with the TC. He's going with a nice eco approach here. So, well, starting with 1 bill, actually, he's going over 2 more. And he's only going with 1 monastery. So maybe he recognizes going with 2 would be a little bit too much of an investment here.
But he's gonna have to be really, really careful. Oh, second one coming down now.
Yeah, there you go.
When he goes out, an Atonement and Sanctity immediately coming out for MBL, which is be really,
yeah.
really good for him. And Viper doesn't have enough resources yet to do that. He's just producing monks. Have to be careful taking these relics because they are quite exposed.
So remember, guys, Viper has just this main gold here. Apart from that, he doesn't have any other golds in his base. So it is really important for Viper to win some fights here. And if he does lose the monk battles, I think Viper will venture, MBL will venture over here and have a look and see with his monks and with their line of sight.